I'm very pleased and excited to welcome you all to this Open Stakeholder Forum for Nordic Museum Professionals, which is arranged by MOI, Museums of Impact project. My name is Leena Tokila and I work for the Finnish Museums Association as a Director Training and Development. My role today is to moderate this event, and later on in the afternoon I will be facilitating one of the workshops. We are so happy to notice that so many museum professionals find our themes impact of museums and developing evaluation of museums interesting and relevant, and want to share your knowledge and competence to help us reach our project goals. A few words about my Museums of Impact projects. You will learn in more detail about this project, but just a few words here. This project is co-funded by Creative Europe program of the European Union with 11 partners from 8 countries across Europe. The aim of the project is to produce a European museum self-evaluation framework for museums of all sizes and types, to provide museums with a tool that helps them increase their impact in society. Key activities of the project are a series of workshops and open stakeholder forums to formulate the new model, a number of pilots in museums to test the model, publishing the model and disseminating information about it. And the project started in December 2019 and will last until November 2022. And this event, which is organized by the Finnish Heritage Agency, which is a project coordinator, and the Finnish Museums Association, will focus on the concept of developmental self-evaluation and how it can be used to strengthen the impact of museums in society. The Finnish Museums Association is a central organization for museums in Finland. Its tasks include looking after museums' interests and advancing museums' activities. The Finnish Museums Association incorporates all professionally run museums in the country. The FMA participates in development and of legislation, museum work, and the financial status of museums. Our organization is a private one, but we work very closely with the Ministry of Education and Culture. The Finnish Museums Association has 230 member societies, and these manage altogether over 400 museums in Finland. Any society having legal capacity and practicing museum operations in Finland is eligible for membership in the association. Our association provides a lot of training and development services for museums. In this introduction, I'll try to outline the bigger picture of museums and societal impact and the role and benefits that self-evaluation has in this context. First, a few words about the concept of impact. In recent decades, the impact of museums has been a topic for active discussions on national and global level. Museums are expected to operate in such a way that their activities have social impact or effect. How to define this social impact? What does it mean in museum context? The concept of impact is also discussed in other sectors of society, especially in public sector and in private companies providing services and products for public sector. It seems that similar discussions defining the concept of impact also arise in business sector. Impact or effectiveness refers in its broadest sense to change in individual behavior, and these changes occur over a longer period of time. For example, measuring the impact of learning is finding out the long-term effects of learning. The assessment of qualitative impact should be carried out through a long-term follow-up study. One other example of impact research is a study of economic impact of museums by the University of Vaasa in 2014, commissioned by the Finnish Museums Association. It explored the economic impact of museums on their operational environment. The study shows that museum visitors spend a multiple amount of money outside the museum compared with the spending in the museum. This money flow supports considerably the regional economy of museum locations. The concept of impact is fundamentally related to museum strategy work because the strategy defines what the museum aims. One essential part in this work is the evolving concept of museum. As we all know, the debate on the definition of museums and the core mission of the museum has been going on for several years. ICOM International Council of Museums has set up a revised project to better engage museum professionals around the world to create a renewed museum definition, which should be finalized and approved in the next General Conference in Prague 2022. I'm sure we all hope that ICOM headquarters and the membership will work hard to meet this schedule, and the new definition of museum will contribute strategy work in the global museum community. Evaluating museum contributes museums their strategy work to better understand how museums are able to make a difference by contributing to society. Evaluation of museums is considered a tool for making difference because it provides a method for museums to focus on objectives of museum work. Museums need to define what social impact means, define the goals and tools accordingly, plan how to measure the impact. Evaluation is seen as a tool for developmental activity for museums. In this regard, one current and very interesting example comes from Germany. Germany is one of the partner countries, so even it's not in this example doesn't come from the Nordic countries, I think this is a relevant one. A project called The Deep Impact tries to combine long-term impact study and sustainable development goals. This project is situated in Museum für Naturkunde, Berlin, and they outline the project on museum's webpage as follows. Our approach is to demonstrate the museum's impact by its contributions towards reaching the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. The SDGs serve as a suitable reference point for the impact of the museum as it strives to work towards a sustainable future, especially with regards to biodiversity, resources, and health. With the help of a logical framework model and the theory of change, we can show that the output and outcome effects of the museum's activities level a path for an impact towards reaching the SDGs. The relevant tool is a plausible impact narrative of the museum that we have developed for prioritized SDGs in our project. And they continue. Central reference point for the project Deep Impact is a newly developed strategic plan of the Museum für Naturkunde Berlin. It aims to strengthen the museum's role in society. Among other goals, the museum will strive to address global societal challenges by supporting an informed democratic knowledge society that is capable to make decisions and take actions. So this is a very interesting project, and I'm sure we all would like to study the results. The MOI project aims to help museums increase their impact on and service for society by developing their capacity to meet the demands of a changing, more diverse, increasingly digital and aging society. This capacity building is achieved by providing museums with a framework for self-evaluation and quality development, leading to new ways of management, increased efficiency and strategic thinking, and ultimately increased impact on society. We will certainly learn more about developmental evaluation Petri Uusikylä will introduce us this concept, and after his presentation, curator Mika Kumpulainen from the Museum of Central Finland will share experiences in using an evaluation framework for museums. This evaluation framework is a tool for self-evaluation for museums in Finland and is one of the starting points for this project in the production of a European Museum self-evaluation framework. To conclude my short introduction, I would like to share with you thoughts of two Finnish museums and about how they see a successful future museum. These definitions include an article on climate crisis, pandemic, and the art scene published in Mustekala Online Journal just last year. The first museum is Amos Rex Art Museum based in Helsinki. The successful museum of the future is a memory organization that is an open platform for its visitors to understand human life and the world. The successful art museum is authentic, multi-voiced, and reflects both society and the field of art. The next one is Emma Espoo Museum of Modern Art. The effective and successful museum is interactive and responsible in its all activities. More important than ever is the museum's ability to stand out as its own, so authenticity and originality are emphasized. The fact that the museum is in interaction with its visitors, the fact that the contents of the museums are unique, and that the museum through these expresses an individual profile will continue to make people come to a museum. So we are very happy to welcome museum professionals with different backgrounds to the Stakeholder Forum. All views are very important and they help us build a strong and current development tool that best serves the museum in the capacity building and impact-oriented management. And now, after my introduction, some practical information about the Stakeholder Forum today. As you know, the Stakeholder Forum consists of two sections, the general introductory section and workshop section that allows all participants, all you who has chosen to be in the workshops, to discuss in smaller groups. And at this point, I think I will end my introductory talk, and we will move to the second presentation, which is about MOI Museums of Impact project presentation. But before letting Marianne and Eva take the floor, I would like to remind you, if you have any technical issues regarding the voice or anything else, please use the chat. You will be given some advice. And if you want to comment or if you have any questions, please use the questions and answers sector. Thank you.